Well, why don't we go ahead and get started? Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining, and Happy New Year to you all. We're kind of continuing with our series on the sunset of Project Online and really introducing some of the alternative. And our focus has been on Power PPM solution. Now, this is not the only tool that you may consider when you're thinking of your roadmap and what's going to happen if you are considering switching from Project Online. Again, there is no end of life date, is just sunset. So that means that the platform is fully supported. We're supporting many clients that are on the platform. So it's not a concern, but something that you should consider as you plan for the future. Now, this webinar, as other ones, are recorded, and they will be available in our playlist on the YouTube channel. For those of you that are watching live on YouTube, the link will be in the description below. And for those of you who are joining us on Zoom, I will leave the information in chat for you. And go ahead, and if you have any questions, feel free to place them into Q&A section or chat, and we'll address them during the course of the webinar or at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. I just want to do a quick recap of what we already done in the past. So we started with the MS Project, Microsoft Project Online timeline. Well, not only Project Online, but we started with a Microsoft server. And then we talked a little bit about strategic portfolio management. And this is where we demoed the Power PPM solution. Again, everything is recorded and available on YouTube for you. Then another session that we had was on advanced features of Power PPM, where we spoke about OKRs, roadmaps. And in today's session, we're going to be looking at the resource management tool, which is called Team Planner. Now, it can be a standalone tool, or it's also fully integrated into the Power PPM solution. Now, what I'm really excited about is what's coming next, probably at the end of this month, and keep an eye on the invitation. We're going to be talking about generative AI in 2024, and specifically how we're utilizing it within the Microsoft ecosystem. Some of the things that we'll be covering is status reporting using AI, SWOT analysis using AI, OKRs, portfolio summary, gate decisions, risk analysis. So this is going to be a very interesting session. We'll talk about security, governance, and everything else. Now, without further ado, I'd like to hand this over to Alex, and we'll dive into resource management using our Team Planner tool. Thank you. Alex, it's all you.
All right, can you see my screen? 1, 2, 3.
No, not yet.
How about now?
Now we could see your screen.
Okay, great. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for watching us. Really appreciate that. You can find some time to hear what we have to say. And today we're talking about resource management. Very complicated topic, and a lot of questions come up with the resource management, and obviously this is top of mind and top of the issue for every organization that is trying to run portfolio, create, execute projects. Do we have enough resources? How do we plan our resources? And all these questions are fairly complicated. We're trying to break it down to smaller chunks and make it easier to manage. And I think this is where I would like you to take a look at some of the options that we have here. So here within Power PPM, we have all kinds of tools. We have all kinds of webinars about that, how to create projects and portfolios, and starting from ideas, risk management process, and all these beautiful things that are out there. But we are now going to look at the resources. So, but we're going to start looking at the resources from the project perspective, like from the kind of micro level, and then we kind of figure that out within the project first, and then we can try to elevate this a little, higher in the organization, maybe at the portfolio level, or maybe at the resource breakdown structure level, and maybe at the organizational level. So let's dive in. So I'm gonna just pick up. Actually, I'm gonna create a project real quick, just for this webinar. So we have a list of projects. Again, have all kinds of projects here. I'm going to just simply say new project. I'm going to say this is going to my favorite movie character. Series. I already have A. I'm just going to say B. Say webinar series B, and I'm going to save this. This will create all kinds of objects behind the scenes. I may want to also move this project along, because we usually would engage into resource planning where we're further along on the governance workflow step. I'm not going to look at all kinds of different tabs here, the timeline, the financials. I'm really going to skip all of this. I'm going to create a template. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to skip financials. I'm going to click on it, but I'm not really going to stand this. You can put you on full financials. So you do your timeline planning, you do your financials planning, and then you do your resource management planning, right? So now we need to understand what are those resources that we would need to engage in order to execute this project. And this could be part of your early stage portfolio planning. Right now, I'm playing this scenario as if I am a project, because I'm going to be playing a different scenario where I am like a portfolio, maybe resource manager. So we're going to talk about that today a little later. But now I'm focusing on resource management as I am planning this one project, right? So here we have this menu that shows up on the resources, where I have a lot of these menus open, but truthfully, when you are running as a project, you would probably see either one or two. So if you also have permission or authorization to allocate resources, then you would have the allocation option as well. But now you are just requesting. Right now we are requesting a resource. We don't even know who that will be. So here on the right, if I'm going to scroll down a little bit, you can see that on the right side there's menu that shows up where it says resources. So it's kind of a hidden here, but it's always here. So if I click on it, it will allow me to pick a resource. And this is typically synchronized with your Active Directory. So anyone in the Active Directory, anyone in the company would likely be here. And you can also add people externally, like vendors, contractors, even from outside. They're not part of the Active Directory. You can, kind of fill your resource pool with everyone here. But now we're doing the request, right? We're now requesting. We don't know who that person actually will be. We don't know that named resource per se. And here we would, we can include this list and include the named resource, but we don't really want to. We really want to say we need someone from development team, say someone from Helsinki, right? We know that something needs to be done there. So basically, we drag and drop that person, well, that role. I'm sorry, that role, we call generic resource, into here. And now we have it listed. Okay, so let's pick someone else. So who else do we want to pick? We want to pick someone from marketing from Helsinki. So we're gonna drag that person over here and have that person listed also. You can see it's kind of redundant. I'll show you what it does and why is it sort of a redundant. It's basically automatically create this work package. So let's just assign something so we can have the information stick, and I'll show you the rest of the features real quick. So this FTE button basically suggests that right now we're putting the request as a full-time equivalence, right? So we are saying that we need 2 people in Q1 in 24 in Helsinki developer from Helsinki developer team, maybe Q2 and maybe Q3. And if I don't want to drag it, I can just simply drag it all the way like in Excel. Pretty cool feature here. Pretty cool feature here. Oh, okay, it did work. And then I'm gonna say I need 3 people for marketing, and I'm just gonna drag this there. Just refresh this thing, and oh, I need to add again the marketing person, marketing, Helsinki. I'm gonna 3 people here, and 3 people here. Let's just say that would be my allocation. Let me just add this 2 people here, 2 people here, 2 people here. So that's that is my allocation as full-time equivalents, and say I need 3 people from this team, 2 people from this team to work on my project. I can shift this and look and take a look how this is looking. If I look at this on a yearly perspective, right, it automatically kind of calculates, right, a 2.2 person in 2024 because I selected only a certain amount of quarters, right? I selected only 3 quarters out of 4, so that gives me that kind of calculates how much do I need on the annual basis versus quarterly basis, and I can go all the way down to monthly or weekly. I don't want to go there, but you get the point. So now I can what I can do also here is I can also say what is my proposed. I think I would need totally 2 people, so I'm just gonna set my markings as like I'm average would need 2 people and I would need 3 people overall, and then I can spread this over time. So this is my kind of resource planning, and I can do this on an annual basis. If I'm kind of doing some rough estimates, I can switch to annual, pick a year or 2, and then I can basically do this only for a certain amount of years, right? Just put to go in 24 and 25 and do it here. So I'm requesting. I have not selected anybody. I'm requesting, and that's what's taken into account as far as roles and availability of people within those roles. Now, when I am trying to, actually, let me show a couple other things. When I'm requesting, I may want to say, you know what, I know who I want in that team, and I can actually put a comment here that this is where the collaborative part comes into play, and say, would like to have Yuri. Now this is developer. Developer will be Alex, for example. Yeah, and I'm gonna say right, and this is gonna create this communication every time someone else is gonna comment. or comment again, right? It's gonna leave the footprint of me commenting, so you can see the thread of communication. I have one Alex, Alex is not available. I have Felix, Felix is not available. I have someone else, Felix is available. So you have all this communication kind of all wrapped up here. So this one I want to say need to have. Okay, so that is something that we have the communication here. You can also add a couple other features. I'm gonna dwell on this a little bit more, but let me switch to the step where we would actually allocate actual named resources to these roles, because we need to fulfill 2 people here in 2024, 2.2 people here in Helsinki in the marketing team. So how do I do that? I'm switching to allocation, right? I'm switching to allocation. I already see this information coming from requested, right? And since I have permissions to see to update the request, I can actually update the request right here and then. But usually, if you don't have a permissions to do that, then you won't be able to update that. But right now we need to pull actual resources, right? And then what we can do, this is coming from the developers team, so I'm going to pick a developer's role, and I know that I see all the people who are in the developer role, right? I see everybody who are developers. I can see more so. I can see where they are. They're in Helsinki here, so I can add Alex into here, and I can add maybe someone else here because I need 2 people. Don't forget. In Helsinki, I would say I need someone from not developer team. I need someone from. Oops, I didn't save. I didn't save it. Let me just do it again. So I'm gonna drop Alex again here, and then Christian here, and someone from marketing. From marketing, I'm gonna add this person here and Lana here. So here I will say I see the demand. The requested FT is 2. I'm going to say 1 is going to be Alex and 1 is going to be Christian. Pretty simple, right? Here, and this in 2024. Here I need 2.2. I have free capacity here, 0.2. So I'm going to say 0.2 is going to be Alina. And I can't assign more than 1 to any one given person, right? So I'm going to say I'm going to assign Lara 1, but I still have unfulfilled demand for this request. But let me kind of comment on something else here. So you can see how the free capacity went to negative as soon as I assigned Ilana here. If I keep it 0, she does not have any free capacity, and more so, the Christian and Alex have negative capacity. We're basically over allocating these folks. Very high demand for these folks. You can see right away whether the folks are allocated or underallocated. But that's another question we're gonna address as far as how do we smooth this allocation over time, and what kind of features we have available for us to do this and kind of smooth the resources so they are not over allocated. So now when we are here and allocated some of our resources, we can switch back and forth between requesting resources and then between allocating resources. Basically, as a project manager, you would kind of deal with these two processes. I need the developer, I need Power BI developer, I need a resource of certain role, and then you would be able to assign and replace that, fulfill that request with actual person. So this is how the application is designed. And right now you can see it's kind of baked into the kind of project management process where the project manager itself himself or herself are managing this year. And you can see the comments, right? You can see the demand, and you can see the comments. You can say, yeah, you have it. You can have it. You can have um, Alex, no problem, right? Then we got the comment in. So that's kind of a very simple process, and I really wanted to keep it simple for the time being before we get into the kind of overall organizational resource capacity management. Feel free to note any questions. I think we have like a Q&A section open here, so feel free to shoot any questions as far as like requesting resources, allocating resources. And here we have requested amount available, requested amount in FTE approved, sorry, allocated amount, allocated resources, and then free capacity. And this is per resource, right? Every actual resource has a free capacity. And if you switch this to hours, this is just how it's going to look like in terms of hours. So this is like overall yearly numbers. Probably make more sense if I switch this to monthly, so you can see how monthly it's distributed. So sometimes you may want to fine tune this. In some month, you need to allocate more or less resources. Then you can fine tune it by switching to monthly or even weekly. So that's kind of the process. And if you are looking to look at this more holistically, and you would want to switch to these options, and these options are usually available to resource managers or managers, and that would usually click on something like this on resources, and then it would open kind of the whole thing into one big kind of UI where you can have more real estate to play with. And here you have the planner view. So you have the request view, right? The request and allocation. This is very detailed and designed for project managers to kind of go and detail this out. You can pick a project you are working with. From here, here's the planner view. This is a great view where you can see and look at all resources or projects, and we can group this differently. Now you see on the left side all kinds of all kinds of projects, including our webinar series B, right? This is exactly what we just did. Remember, we just did the Helsinki developer, and there was demand. See the demand, the requested hours versus allocated hours. Obviously, we can also switch from hours to FTEs to see the same exact thing in FTE numbers versus hours. So maybe I do that. It's easier to deal with the numbers. And now it's monthly. Let me switch this again to quarterly, because we did it quarterly. And you can see how our project is depicted here. But now this view is not just for one project, but it's for all projects. And you can fine tune some of these numbers by dialing into any of these projects and adjusting the numbers, right? Or you can look at this my projects, my resources. You can also, let me just clear this out. So you can look at this by, you can filter this by, how you have your own resources and you have your own projects. You can narrow down the way you are massaging this. But basically, from the organizational perspective, you see everything. Every single project is here. You can use some filters. Say, I want to only look at this project, or let's just say, what is it? The one that we just created. The one we just created. Fresh, and I can look at just this one project. All right, and I can look at this one project just the way I was looking at there, and then I can, the same way, I can change and say, hey, Ilana is not going to work here. I'm going to replace her, that person. remove some allocations, 0.5 here and then 0.5 here. So you can do very, very quickly by doing that. So that's the planner view. And by far, the overall organizational view, the resource planner view, this is, focusing on resources versus projects. So here we were focusing on projects just now. I should go back there. And here's where we focusing on projects, and we're filling, resource loading basically those projects with all of our resources. Here we're kind of looking at the same thing from the resource perspective. Like if you're the manager, for example, you're not a project manager, but you are like a line manager and you have 5 people working for you, for example, then you would want to narrow down your find your people here and say, where's Alex here? Sort this out. So here's Alex, right? And now you can see everything that Alex is working on. You can see that Alex is largely over allocated, and especially in Q1 of the following year. And you can see where exactly he's over allocated, right? And more so, you fix this. So if I know that Alex is allocated more than he needs to, more than that he has time, so I can shift his allocation. I can say, well, you know what, maybe I need to have Alex here in 0.2, and I'm only over allocated 0.1, so I'm just gonna remove the allocation maybe here from 0.5 to 0.4, and now I am not over allocated in Q1. So this is how I can kind of manually rebalance this a little bit, but look at this, but from the overall resource perspective. Obviously, this may need some communication back and forth with, with actual project manager. Maybe I cannot just remove the person or change the allocation on the project by myself. Maybe I need to talk to the project manager about this first. But that's kind of holistic view where you can actually see everything. The resource capacity here would allow you to dwell into any specific resource. If you similar to a resource planner, but it kind of give you a little bit more information and focusing on its capacity. So if I pick this guy here, and I can see that this resource is allocated such and such and such, right? I have total capacity 0.9 for some reason. I don't know why I have 0.9 capacity. Maybe it's just because we're already, in Q1 at the moment. But that's my number. So free capacity, I don't have any free capacity. I have negative free capacity, so it means like I don't have any capacity. I do have capacity in 2025 Q1 though, as far as this picture, and that tells me where I am. I can also look at change it to monthly, weekly, or yearly at the same numbers. And if I switch to anybody else here, I can look at the same information for anybody else in the company or anybody else who is in my resource pool. So that's kind of roughly where it's at. Wanted to kind of show a couple things when let me just go back here. When we're dealing with requests, let me pick the project that we work on. Here we go. This is 07. 07. There you go. This is series B. So I would want to show you a couple of other features. So this is the gear that can click on it. It will give you all kinds of options to choose from. So first of all, you can move the whole thing. Like if you created your allocations, everything is perfect. You worked on this so hard, and all of a sudden you say, oh, your management says, oh, you need to shift everything to next quarter, right? So you can move the whole thing quarter without redoing your work. So this is kind of nice feature. You can look at all these options here as let me just do the default. So by default, you're looking at it as a work package. So we're looking at this Um, uh, we call the work package basically a grouping, a grouping for a chunk of work here. And we know that it's in Helsinki, for example, and we're going to say Helsinki developer will need to create a database for um, customer X, right? So you can just actually like create more descriptive work packages, like what this team is going to be doing. So it's easier for you to understand, and see what this group of people will be actually dealing with. So marketing, right? So here I can also double click on this and say, so marketing, say conference prep for the conference prep for the 2024. So that will be prepping for conference activities in 20, something like that. But point is that you can make and change this. More so, if I look at other features here, well, enable fast delete, if you want to kill everything, remove everything, you can quickly do that too. I won't show you that, but there's some of the features called auto distribution. So here, what you can do, I don't want to play this now. It's like can create a lot of distributions, but we have a feature that can allow you to use the free capacity, automatically distribute the hours. This is similar to what we had in project called, resource leveling, if you remember. Then that would be kind of similar way of doing that. I would say, this is very mathematically enhanced feature. Maybe dedicated webinar would do justice to kind of actually show and demonstrate that. But what I'd like to talk about quickly is this add work packages. So for example, if you have a project, and let's just say, actually, let me show you the kill all feature. If I kill everything here, just kill everything, maybe lots of mistakes, for example, I don't want to start from scratch, right? And from scratch, I know that I already have some kind of template of work packages. So I can pick a template, add a work package, and I say, I want the work package that was done for example, workflow development, for instance, and import, right? I'm gonna import already pre-existing work package, right? Which is basically already given me what kind of roles I need for what project. So it's good to you if you have repetitive projects and you would need for, say, I don't know, website development, you need a designer, you need database guy, you need UI, and you need a web developer, right? And how many, the roles, and you even know what how many FTEs you would need for 3 or 4 months. So you can bake this into work package, have it as a template, and be able to kind of pull this into your resource sheet here. And then you can just simply say and adjust it, right? Okay, so this is what I'll need, put some FTEs here, right? And then you can go and actually do the allocations. So that's kind of what this work packages is all about. And once you are here, you can group this thing by resource breakdown structure, by work package, by role, or by skill. Let me just quickly switch quickly here. So this is by the RBS. We know we have a company, we have the resource breakdown structure. So we have a headquarters, and then we have some kind of different locations. And that resources are assigned to different locations. So we can kind of use that hierarchical structure in order to look at this list of people here. So I don't know. We may run out of time. I think this is everything that I was planning to do. If we have more time, I can kind of show a little bit.
We actually we have a couple of questions. One, well, what type of integration are possible with Team Planner? What tools can be integrated to get the data?
Sure. So not to say number one, you can see this is already integrated here within Power PPM natively, kind of right. But you can also see that it works. It works, as a standalone application. So number one is integrated in Power PPM. But with that, you can see that as this is baked into the Power PPM, it can be part of the any Power Apps solution. So if you're if you're a Power Apps house and have a lot of Power Apps or Dynamics applications, definitely native integration is over there. Integrates completely natively with Active Directory, integrates completely natively with most of the project management management applications from the perspective of synchronization of resources and projects. Let me just show you a couple of things. So here's the list of projects. And this is from the resource planning perspective right now synchronized with our Power PPM. So this project that I created is already here. That project. There you go. So this is the project, right? And it's already created. I can manually create a project. I don't have to have a project created by Power BPM or Project Online or something else. I can manually create the project and create the demand and create the resource demand for my resource planning purposes. So sometimes we have an option to customers to create on their own. But this list can be synchronized with Project Online with any other tools out there. So what yeah, I mean that's and as far as resources, I mentioned that we are already synchronizing this resources Active Directory, which is a corporate book of all the people that are there.
Alex, what about the reporting? As I'm assuming Power BI is still used for reporting?
Thank you for asking. Let me just show you a couple things from the Teams perspective. So this is the Teams, and we also have the the time baked into Teams, right? The timesheets, the Power BPM built into Teams, as well as just let it. So this is my timesheets. These are my Power BPM, right? I can run everything. Oh, sorry, this one here. This one here. So we can run everything basically from Teams without leaving Teams. So this is exactly the same list of projects, right? And we can run this from Team Planner. So this is our kind of trimmed down version of the Team Planner within Teams. And here, the reason I wanted to go here is because from here I can launch my reports, and from reports, I can launch this from any Power BI place you think of, but this is basically where we would go and see some of our reports. So here we have the requested hours, allocated hours, and capacity hours. Capacity hours excluding admin, stuff like that. So you can see how here, for example, we have capacity hours and we are requesting more than we have capacity, right? We're also kind of under allocating with under fulfilling those capacities with resources, but this is largely where we are. As far as the other reports that are here, I spend more years, you can see a lot more details, and you can see all kinds of specifics as far as roles, different people within those roles and how they're over under allocated over time. There's a lot more details you can see from here. You can see all kinds of charts and histograms as far as understanding of how your resources are loaded. But if we go back to here for a second and look at this resource planning, this is basically allowing you to take control over your resources without getting into too many details from projects as far as tasks assignments. I'm sure there will be a question at some point. Oh, if we have tasks in the project and then we assign people to those tasks, can this drive demand? It can theoretically, but practically it's hard to make it consistent across the organization. We have seen a lot of people try to do that and they don't get very good results. But here, when you do this at the resource kind of macro sort of level, but don't get me wrong, you can get to the very detailed level here as well. But this is allowing you quickly roll this up to quarters, to projects, to portfolios, to organizational level, and kind of see where you are. Any other questions? Yuri?
No, I think you answered them all. There was one about integration with Teams, but you already showed that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because essentially everything that I showed you natively integrated with Teams, and we have the trimmed down version here from within Teams, where you can look at your own capacity and kind of see where you are booked, what do you need to work on, basically. Now, right? It can kind of tells you like today's January 11, and I see that I have allocations of such and such. Here I'm using like apartment 2 user here. Can assign a couple of resources to me. I can actually do that. So let me go to here and assign this guy here. Resource become. I guess I'm not in the resource pool yet. But anyway, you understand. If I assign myself to any of these, this would show me my allocations and what I need to work on and what my allocations are. All right. Well, is there any other questions? Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate your time with us. We're looking forward to have conversation with any of you. If you have any questions, please shoot us an email or watching it on YouTube, leave a comment, and we will definitely get back to you. And happy to reconnect.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And all the links are posted in chat.